I accept salvation from God to be my help. I carry the shield of faith to cloud the arrows of evil. Spiritual chain or spiritual influence, most deadly disease of body, soul, mind or spirit, placed upon us around this place.
Abortion is Satan's last straw. Abortion is Satan's last straw.
On May 25th, Ireland will vote on whether it should abandon the 8th Amendment to its constitution that gives unborn children equal rights to their mothers.
My brothers and sisters, my name is Father Lawrence. I'm with the Franciscans in Myros.
The amendment was introduced in 1983, when 67% voted in its favour. In practice, it's meant abortion is banned in all but the most extreme cases in Ireland.
We pray, Lord, for all those who have suffered the trauma of abortion. We pray for mothers and fathers, for grandparents. We pray, Lord, for Ireland, for wisdom. Lord, hear us.
In this referendum, no is a vote to keep the amendment and its abortion restrictions in place. Yes is a vote to get rid of it. More than 40% of people polled have said they intend to vote no, or haven't yet decided.
I would be devastated if we repealed it, and I would disassociate from the Irish nation, I really would. Every other country, they imposed abortion on the people. They didn't get a vote in it. So I'd be thoroughly ashamed, and I would be embarrassed, and I wouldn't want to describe myself as Irish. I don't know. A Gael or a Celt, maybe I'll start calling myself.
Abortion is horrific, you know, and we're not, but abortion is violent.
Limerick is a city in Ireland's southwest. In a census last year, more than 80% of people here describe themselves as Catholic, and local historian Tony Brown believes the majority will be voting no. Like, that's a big block of property, though, owned by the church, isn't it?
Yeah. But Jesuits are very wealthy. The wealthiest sort in the world, the Jesuits.
The Catholic Emancipation Act was only passed in Ireland in 1829. When the country's constitution was written in 1937 by the first leader of the new republic, Eamon de Valera, it was in close consultation with a Jesuit and a Catholic priest. Catholicism was written into the fabric of this country.
I was told growing up that Protestants, I really thought they had two heads, some of them. You know, you were kind of afraid to look at Protestants. They weren't spoken of as such, especially in Limerick. Limerick being the conservative city it is, and still is a conservative city.
Is there a notion that being Catholic is part of Ireland's identity?
I would like to think so, to be honest with you. This is the Perry Chapel, look, where the other Limericks were buried. They could afford their own chapel.
Do you think that feeling, that hostility to Britain, was in any way reflected in the Constitution itself?
Oh, it would have been, obviously, yeah, definitely. And also it been, as I said, Catholic as such, whereas England would have been classed as Protestant, you know, definitely. To save the unborn, that would have been put in. I remember in '83, big demonstrations, I remember, two particular men, and they're standing outside the boat, and they're telling people going in that they were murdering babies, don't forget that, you know. And men, and there again, I often wonder, should men be voting at all in this referendum? Is it a male choice? Is it a female choice? You know, I don't know what the answer to that is. I really don't.
You sound like you're quite undecided yourself on the issue.
I am very much undecided. I am. I don't know.
It seems that demographics aren't playing much of a part in shaping the vote. Nicola Gorman and David Walsh are both in their early 20s and both plan to vote no. They're unusual among their friends in that they both go to church.
When you got pregnant when you were 20, what was the reaction of your friends to it?
The first, at least 5 people I told, all said to me, "Are you keeping it?" And at this stage now, I was probably about 4, nearly 5 months pregnant. So I was like, of course, I'm keeping my baby, you know. And I think it's a bit sad that that's the first thing people will say to you when you're pregnant these days, especially just because of your age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's just something that really upset me, and it actually adds to why I'm definitely pro-life as well. I just don't want to see it becoming like that common.
Yeah, I think a lot of my friends are no voters. I think we all kind of see on the same page on the issue.
Do you think there are a lot of silent no voters?
I definitely think so. There's definitely a lot of
I think
silent
there's
no's.
a silent no. I think there's a lot of undecided as well. So I think some people are in favour of some part, like myself, in favour of some parts.
Do you think the church's recent struggle with the child abuse scandal has had any impact on how people are voting in this referendum?
I would think so, yeah. I think a lot of people are against the church after finding out these child abuse scandals about these mother and baby homes where babies were buried in unmarked graves and
we're obviously not saying that's right. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I disagree with that.
We can disagree
totally.
with that and still be a no vote. I probably would know some people, all right, who would have grown up with, like you were saying, with the church, like being really like forced down their throat, and that they actually grew up resenting it, and because the church is on the no side, that the main reason that they would be for the yes side is because of that.
If it does pass, I think it's just a sign that Ireland is changing in a direction, a more liberal direction compared to how it was when the conservative Catholic Church was kind of the main influencer.
Moyross is an estate on the outskirts of Limerick. 10 years ago, the council was attempting to knock it down after an eruption of gang violence saw car bombs and shootings here. An order of Franciscan monks arrived to help the community. Most people in Moyross, regardless of their faith, now credit them with doing more to support them than the local authorities.
This community was torn apart one time, and no one wanted to help us, no one. We had to do it all ourselves, and the monks were then part of it, to us. And that's what we think of them anyway, they're lovely people.
The whole point of it is that you get out and have fun.
Yeah, it's a faithful place. The faith is just deep-rooted, just in the ancestors and the history and the tradition, and mass attendance maybe needs a little work.
Has the Friary been doing much work on the abortion referendum?
Yeah. Well, just being present to people and just listening to people's stories, being at the pro-life rallies and just supporting people in prayer and preaching.
In the 83 referendum here, the Catholic Church in Ireland was very involved in campaigning to bring in the amendment. This time round, the church itself hasn't been so vocal.
Yeah, not as vocal, for sure. It's more of a popular movement, I would say, than a church movement. There's a whole struggle for the identity of Ireland, because it has been something that just was understood for so long that it's just not part of who they are as a people. But because it's everywhere in mainland Europe and they're part of the EU, then there's pressure, like, should we become more like what everybody else is doing, or what is it to be Irish? So I think there's a battle going on that level too, just culturally speaking, like who are we as a people?
Local taxi driver Tommy Daly led the fight against the council to save Moyross. Now he's turning his attention towards saving the 8th.
Don't you right there now? They're never like this.
All those coming out.
What we do is we dig it all up, then we replant it, and we put the moss peat in. I think the no vote will get a big thumbs up. That's what I think. It's wrong. It shouldn't have to come to this anyway. For a Catholic country, it shouldn't have.
If it is a yes vote, do you think it will undermine the Catholic Church in Ireland?
If you get a yes vote, it's kind of giving the fingers up to the Catholic Church, really, isn't it? I mean, the Catholic Church hasn't really stood up yet.
There's a theory that it is because of the child abuse scandal that they're afraid to put their head up above the parapet, so to speak, and be moralising at a time when they feel that they're vulnerable.
Well, there's an old saying, if you're not guilty and you hold your head up, you'll come out on top. This is where they should be holding their head up. If it's a yes, I'm sure that won't be the end of it ever. Won't be the end of it, Because the no voters, they won't be left at that. I don't think so. So I could be wrong, but we'll see.
We'll see.
God is good. They said, not